I presume if you're here, you're a programmer or an engineer, and you are attracted to the concepts of a digital twin and what it could possibly do for your business. I consider myself, that description to match myself exactly. I'm a programmer, and I really do believe digital twin, the concept of a digital twin for infrastructure is going to radically change our business, our Bentley Systems business, but our entire industry. So I'm very excited about it. Now, I'm sure you haven't heard from any of your vendors who are in this business anything other than digital twins, because it's really not a question of if digital twins, it's merely how digital twins. In fact, I would say over the past 35 plus years I've been involved, if someone had given me a description of what today we say is the promise of a digital twin, I never would have said it wasn't the right thing to have been doing from the very beginning. All I would have said is a digital twin was beyond the capabilities of the infrastructure, the computing infrastructure at the time. So digital twins are not an if, they're a how. So let me talk a little bit about what I think, if I were in your shoes, I'd want to know about the technology for digital twins. Now, Bentley Systems, we have embraced this very dramatically. In fact, what I say to our people at Bentley Systems is our mission at Bentley Systems should be to become the digital twin platform company. And as you know, software is always complicated. If you think about what a digital twin will be for an infrastructure asset, and by the way, we use the term infrastructure a little differently than I know some of you do. We say infrastructure means anything that is at a fixed location, large enough to be at a fixed location on the earth. So it doesn't just mean public assets. It also means buildings and plants and bridges and all those things that if you design it and build it and keep it in one permanent location, that's an infrastructure to us. That's to differentiate it from things like a digital twin of a car or a part or a person. So when I say digital twin, I mean infrastructure digital twin. Now, the concept of a digital twin is going to be varied depending on what type of infrastructure asset you're talking about. In fact, even for the same type of asset, for different instances of an asset, the combination of things that will come together to form a digital twin is going to be immense and very eclectic, I say. A digital twin is a noun. Think of it as a collection of things that represent the physical world, the digital world that represents the digital world. And I also think a digital twin is a verb. You digitally twin the real asset, and you are continually changing things. So the concept of a digital twin means many different things, and the software involved in creating a digital twin is going to be diverse. No one vendor is going to be able to provide all of the pieces for a digital twin for any part of an infrastructure asset. So when I think about what our mission is to be the digital twin platform company, what I'm actually saying is I want to be a player. I want Bentley's technology to be a player in all of the things that go into making a digital twin of a infrastructure asset. So what kinds of things should be important to a platform? A platform is a piece of software that solves a general problem that you can build layers on top of. What would go into a platform? Well, if I were you, I'd be thinking about three very important parts of what the platform that you build, whatever it is that you're going to use a digital twin for, whatever you build on top of that platform, you better be relying on that platform to solve three big problems. The first problem that I think you should think most seriously about is the persistence layer. And by that, I mean how you store the content of your digital twin. You do not want a digital twin interchange format. That is not going to work. You're going to create a digital twin. It's going to be a big, massive thing. You need to store it somewhere. So if someone tells you that your digital twin platform will be a cloud platform, that's a good thing. But when they say your digital twin persistence format is a database in the cloud, I think that's should be a very big red flag, because I think you're going to have many, many copies of this. You need to be able to take the data out of the cloud, store it on your desktop, for example, on a mobile device, on a phone, and you need to have ways to store many, many copies of it. So it needs to be a very large capable database, but it also needs to be something you can extract and store on a personal computer. How can that be? It needs to be both a database and a file. And that is what an iModel is. And if you're familiar with edit, merge, verify, and approve workflows, it's going to probably sound a lot like today programmers use for source code management. And guess what? In source code management, we used to have this concept of version control systems that were centrally oriented. If you know CVS or version, subversion, or source safe, they've all been completely replaced by a concept Git, which every programmer on your team has a local copy. iModels are to engineering, design, and BIM models as Git is to source code. So that's persistence, I think, is really paramount to how a digital twin software architecture, everything about software design is subservient to the way you store your data. So that's really, really key. And I think iModels are probably the best way to do that. Then the second issue that if I were you, I'd be worried about is scalability. If there's one thing about an infrastructure digital twin, it's that they can be massive. And if you're going to write software, if you're going to design systems that work on an infrastructure digital twin, you have to be prepared for millions of everything, sometimes billions of things. There's going to be lots of copies of stuff. There needs to be ways that you can look at only a small subset of that. There needs to be ways to index stuff. It's a very complicated problem, but scalability is the way a platform works well or doesn't. When programmers sometimes come to me and give me a demo of a software implementation they've been working on, and they show it to me on a tiny little model, I say, I don't care to see it on that. You need to show me it working on a very large model. If it works on a very large model, it probably will also work on a small model, but the converse is not necessarily true. So in everything we've done in iModel.js, we've thought about scalability first. And I think it's going to be really, really important to you if you're investing in a platform and you're going to put a lot of your work into it. You don't want it to be dead-ended based on magnitude of the data or number of copies of anything. So anyway, I would, if I were you, put a high priority on scalability. And then the third thing, probably in my opinion, the most important design criteria for a digital twin platform is flexibility. Now, I said I've been at this for 35 years, and if you'd asked me 10 years ago where we would be in the technology for digital twins of today, I wouldn't have had a clue. I wouldn't have been accurately able to predict it. So what I think we have to be thinking about here at the beginning, we're at the very beginning of this inflection curve for digital twins, is flexibility. That's what I implore you to put the greatest emphasis on. So what do I mean by flexibility? Well, the ability to evolve as your use cases evolve, your ability to expand as you find different ways to work on, other problems to work on, the ability to combine pieces of a digital twin solution with other vendors. So you don't want vendor lock-in. You don't want the code to be based on something that is unlikely to survive as evolution happens. So how does that translate in our world? Well, we use the term open, and we mean it very seriously. The data that you save using iModel.js is open. It's your data. You can access it without buying anything from any vendor, including Bentley. The source to the programs that you create based on iModel.js, the source for that platform, is available to you. You can, if you want to, make changes to it. We hope you will. Instead of changing your copy of it, you will contribute changes back to the base copy of it. And if you'd like, you can decide to have nothing more to do with Bentley systems ever again and take all the work that you've created and diverge from us. Now, we hope you don't do that, and we'll have lots of ways that we will try to make ourselves relevant for your business case. But if a vendor comes to you and says, hey, please base your digital twin future on this proprietary stack, if I were you, I would slap them away and say, I don't want to have anything to do with you. We need to be able to grow as our digital twin requirements grow. The one thing I can tell you about infrastructure assets that are a fixed location on the earth is you don't often replace them. So if your asset has a 30, 40, 50-year life cycle, your digital twin is likely to have that too. And as the technology changes, you need to be able to maintain flexibility. So if I were in your shoes thinking about basing some work on a technology stack, if I were you, I'd be thinking, well, it damn well better be open or I have no use for it. And that is, because I believe that is what we've done with iModel.js. Everything about our system is designed to interface well. It's based on open layers and interfaces well with other systems that will come from other open platforms. And hey, you don't have to believe every part of what we do in iModel.js. I think if you want to replace just a subset of it, you have the ability to do that. If you wish to use some but not all of it, you can do that. It's designed to be modular. Now, we're not giving it away because we think that's for some altruistic reason. We're giving it away because we believe we can create a business for ourselves being relevant with the ecosystem that will also build on iModels. So anyway, iModel.js is our future. It represents a lot of work. We're currently debuting version 2.0. 2.0 is a substantial release for us. It has been 3 or 4 years in the making in our public world. It's been many years before that, before we open sourced it. And I think you'll find that version 2 of iModel.js can solve lots and lots of problems. It's only the beginning of what we will have in the future. But we're very excited about the ecosystem that we can help build, and your ability to use iModel.js to solve problems that will be beneficial for your own company's mission.